Hello and welcome guys to another video. My name is Aaron and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to look at the 10 rarest JDM sports cars, the cars you want but can't have. Number 10, we have the Subaru Impreza 22B STI. There were only 400 of this car ever made. The World Rally Championship really put this Subaru body style on the map, and it really defined the blue on gold look that everybody loves so much as well. In 1997, Subaru decided to celebrate the Impreza's WRC victories with a limited edition model, the 22B. Now, I've actually seen one of these cars live in action as well. Albuquerque, New Mexico had one. It was crazy cool. I only ever saw it one time at Cars and Coffee, but I hope that they are taking really good care of this very rare car. The 22B was basically a road legal rally car. It had upgraded 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine, sending 280 horsepower to all four wheels. It had a 5-speed manual, making it a joy to drive. Now this is badass. 400 units, that puts it at number 10 on the list. Let's keep going. Okay, number 9 is the Toyota 2000 GT. Now I had actually never heard of this car, but there were only 351 ever made. The 60s were by far one of the best eras for cars, period. I don't think anybody will ever argue with me. The 60s Mustang, the 60s Camaro. Clearly the 60s were also a cool time for the Toyota. The 2000 GT in the 60s were $6,800, which I don't actually know, accounting for inflation, how much that would be now. However, this car is now worth $1 million. That's what one sold for at auction today. That is insane. Number 8 on the list, we have the Honda NSX Type S. So this is just a second generation NSX. However, it was a limited production. 350 units were only ever made. It has 602 horsepower, which really does put it at pretty much the top of the food chain as far as a JDM sports / luxury car goes. That's a lot of power for a tuner car. Honestly, as far as like how cool this thing is, I would put this at number 1. Looking at it, it just looks like a regular Miata. However, this was a factory hard top, so it didn't have the option to have a removable top at all, period. It had a paint matched, all one-piece car. So 2-seater roadster, hard top only option. Super badass. 179 of these units were only ever made. Now, the car is still just as slow as its brothers and sisters. However, because it is a hardtop only, it is immensely coveted. As somebody who personally hates my Miata's soft top, this thing is sick. Next, at number 6, we have the Lexus LFA Nürburgring edition. There were only 64 of this unit ever produced. The Nürburgring edition gives you a whole whopping 10 extra horsepower above the regular LFA. Now, I wouldn't say just regular like peasant with your 10 less horsepower, because obviously the LFA is super sick and expensive as it is, and honestly one of the best sounding V10 engines probably on the market ever, bar none. I will argue that all day long. All right, we have here the Nissan GT-R 50, which is also only 50 units considering it is the 50-year anniversary of the Nissan GT-R. Nissan took the regular R35 Nismo and they added a little bit of spice.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
Working with Ital Design, Nissan took a R35 GT-R and they gave it a complete makeover. This one got a brand new front end, crazy futuristic LED headlights, and as well as under the hood improvements. They gave it a new intake, exhaust, larger turbos, and all of that gave it 710 horsepower, which is a pretty good increase over the standard R35. This thing is actually, I don't know, it's ugly, but it's also badass at the same time. Like, it does not look like a Nissan, and to be honest, I don't think I have ever even heard of this thing. But this thing is super sweet. 50 units for the 50th anniversary, so it kind of makes sense, but crazy dope looking car actually. At number 4, we have the 1997 Nismo 400R. What they did was Nissan took this with its RB26 and they basically did an entire rebuild on the engine. They entirely redesigned it to actually hold quite a bit more power, because this is, by today's standards, this is exactly what you would do to add crazy power to your engine. So what they did, they took it and they gave it a new upgraded oil system, high lift camshafts, larger exhaust manifolds, upgraded rods, higher output turbos, and the result was 400 horsepower, which now you have the 400R. This thing is super sweet. I actually looked it up and it looks like this thing goes for a couple millies. So if you happen to actually find one of these things, 44 of them were only ever made. So that's like 3 generations of a family owning this car out of the entire world's population. That is insane. Incredibly rare car. Number 3 on the list is arguably the most well recognized sports car of all time. Thanks to Fast and Furious, the Supra is literally like every car guy's wet dream. However, Toyota took their actual TRD championship car and decided to make a road legal version of it. They gave it, you know, super badass looking wheels, ventilation for the rear, bigger wing, front arrow, the whole 9 yards, and you can literally have a right hand driven road legal race car. And it's super limited, 35 units. And number 2 on the list, we have the 1997 NSX Type S0. They only made 30 of this car. The first generation NSX took the world by storm when it debuted in the 90s. Its combination of sleek styling, advanced technology, handling, reliability, and affordability have never been in any other supercar built before it, which is why European automakers had to rethink their strategies. This is literally a track-only race car version of the NSX. It didn't have power steering, it didn't have a stereo, cruise control, or airbags. So that's the reason that this car was not road legal, because it had literally no safety devices on it at all. So I'm sure if you managed to get your hands on it, you could probably make it road legal. However, if you manage to get one of 30 in the world, I don't think you would ever want this to touch the street. And numero uno, we have the Nissan Skyline GTR Nismo Z-Tune. That's a mouthful. They only made 20 of this car for the 20th anniversary, so 2020. They took this car and they basically just did a full makeover on it. It has carbon fiber bodywork to reduce the weight, aggressive aero kits, upgraded Sachs suspension, and high-performance Brembo brakes. So they took the badass R34 and they just made it badasser. Yeah, this car actually got you just under 500 horsepower, so still a really fast car for also being a super limited, and I'm talking super limited body style on it. But yeah, guys, that is the list of 10 JDM cars that you can want and will never own. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what you want to see, what I could do better of, what you liked, what you disliked. All I'm asking for, guys, this is a lot of work, but please like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Drink water, be safe, and I'll see you next time.